fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From 8 Arbitration, the Monday edition. I was supposed to be out of town yesterday and today, and I didn't go out of town. So I was going to do it tomorrow, but since I'm here, let's go on and get it out of the way. We'll do a Monday edition. I will be doing one next Sunday, all right? Even though it's Thanksgiving week, I'll do one next Sunday. And I'm going to cover, amongst a few things, employer claims. Had an individual reach out to me that one of their carriers walked across a newly paved driveway. There was no warning tape, nothing like that on it. And obviously the customer called in and complained, said it's $2,000 in damage. And supervision told the carrier that they could either pay for it or get discipline. And so we're not going to pay for anything. All right. So if you want to give me discipline on that, that's fine. We'll address that. But I'm not paying for anything. Okay, so we're going to cover employer claims next week, Sunday. All right, got a lot of stuff to cover today. A lot of stuff going on. We're going to talk about it. Okay, I'm going to try to be civil as much as I can. All right, it's Thanksgiving week. We got a lot to be thankful for, and I'm going to try to be civil, and probably will fail miserably. But anyway. First things first, a special shout out to two of my favorite people in the world, Cole Billups, Mallory Eubanks. A special shout out to them. I've told you that Mallory has been very busy lately, right? She's been out of pocket lately, and I have been handling from 8arbitration.com myself, even though I haven't done anything with it because I don't know how. And so those two, if you don't know, are expecting. And I could not be happier. I could not be happier for both of those individuals. I love them dearly. Cole Billups, as you know, has helped me so many times. Cole and I have been up at midnight trying to help me with an episode on numerous occasions. Help me to edit and whatever, and if I couldn't get it going, I'd send him the entire episode and he would stay up and edit it on his thing and send it back to me. And I've made Cole pull his hair out numerous times, and he has done more to help me than just about anybody else. And Mallory obviously has been the biggest gift to me as far as from 8 arbitration as anybody. And she's handled from 8arbitration.com. CCA Corner, her and Cole do that. And so they're invaluable, both of them. And so, yes, they finally have announced it, so I can finally announce it. I've been wanting to kind of announce it the last 4 or 5 episodes. I couldn't. I was sworn to silence. And so, yeah, they're expecting. So congratulations to both of them. This is what I may do this. I may have Mallory put up, she didn't ask me to do this, she doesn't even know anything about it. They do have, when you're pregnant, you have those registers. You go to them and they have things on there to get them for the new baby. I'm going to have her put it up on from 8arbitration.com. All right, I'm going to have her put that up on from 8arbitration.com. I've always said if you got a little pocket change, give it to her because she has been invaluable as far as helping me on from 8arbitration.com, which has helped you. If you've ever looked on there for a site or a template or anything like that, a case file, she has done that. And so I want to have her put that up there, her baby registry, if that's what it's called. It's been a long time since I've dealt with that. And so I'll have her put it on there. I'll tell you Sunday if it's up. And that way, get on there and get her a little something for that new precious baby. All right? So congratulations to those two. As you know, we had the wrap session last week. I was there Friday, drove in Friday, went to the reception Friday night, and then had to leave. So I was not there for the wrap session. But was there for the reception, had a fantastic time, man. It was basically a CLC takeover. of the reception. It was. It was so good seeing all my people there from the CLC. Everybody that came up and shown us some love. It was absolutely amazing. And it just shows you this movement that's going on, man. And it did my heart good to see that. And so it was fantastic seeing everybody. Thank y'all so much for coming up and talking to me. And we had a great time of it, right? Had a great time of it. The CLC is growing. I told you that James Henry's taking no shit as far as his slate's concerned. He is putting together a fucking badass slate. And I've been saying that forever. When you talk about those that love the city letter carrier, that are going to put the city letter carrier first and just rabid ass fucking dogs. And that's what he's doing. And that's what I love about it. You want to talk about anti-establishment? This slate. If you want to talk about those that are getting rid of the status quo, this slate. You want to talk about those that are addressing the needs of the city letter carrier, this slate. The Good Old Boy Network is done. They're done. And they are pissed. Trust me, they're pissed. They despise my ass. Good. You can despise my ass while you're delivering mail next year, right? Because y'all are going to lose y'all's position, y'all's situation. And I can't wait. But the CLC is growing in numbers. I know I told you that Tom Rooney has agreed to step on as the MBA for Region 14. And if you know Tom Rooney, a stud. I love that guy. He's an absolute beast. You also have Orlando Gonzalez from Region 15. And I'll have all these on probably starting next year. Okay? But Orlando Gonzalez, Region 15 MBA. And people that know him understand that dude. A straight up beast. And so I could not be more excited about that. And then the great news last week that Miss Debbie Dixon out of Region 2 is going to be running for MBA. And if you've seen the comments on social media, they praise this woman for her advocacy as far as city letters carrier is concerned. And so I could not be more excited about Miss Debbie Dixon. And she is 100 miles an hour. If you know her, man, she is 100 miles an hour. And I could not be more excited for that region, Region 2. And I'll have all these on, like I said. And Region 2, you know, that business agent came on. Nice guy. I mean, I like the guy. But he's the one who, when I challenged the MBAs to come on here, he accepted the challenge, remember? The problem is he got on here and he starts talking about how honest Renfro is, and he took exception to me saying that Renfro's dishonest. Now, you're talking about the most dishonest motherfucker we've ever had as a president is Renfro. That motherfucker lies more than anybody else I've ever seen in my life, and lies to everybody. He has not a single honest bone in his body. And so for anybody to come on here and try to defend that motherfucker saying that, well, to me, I don't know that he's ever been dishonest. I just have not heard him be dishonest. Anybody that can sit there and say that is either so out of fucking touch that they don't need to have the position, or kissing this motherfucker's ass so much they don't need to have that position. But anybody that comes on here and tries to defend that motherfucker saying that he wasn't dishonest to us needs to lose their position. And so he will. And so Miss Debbie Dixon, could not be more excited about you coming onto the CLC slate. I told y'all James Henry ain't fucking around with this slate. I told y'all that. I've told y'all that. I was in Atlanta and I said he's a street fighter. And that's what he is a street fighter. Nicest guy you'll ever meet. When you meet him, man, he's so nice. A street fighter. Straight up badass. And so I couldn't be more excited for the city letter carrier to have a group coming in that's going to love the city letter carrier like I've been pleading, and puts the city letter carrier first, which is absolutely necessary. In December, there will be another addition to the CLC slate. One personally I've been waiting on from my region. And we'll announce that individual in December. But I could not be more excited. This is my home, Region 8. It's my home. And I've done a lot of damage down in Region 8 over the years. And so my carriers are hurting in Region 8. And so we needed somebody, to me, the ultimate badass. And I cannot wait to announce this individual. I can't do it because they're not going to announce until December. But my region is in good hands. And I could not be more excited. Could not be more excited. It's the one that I have been trying my best. And so finally, yes, that's going to happen. So, man, it's fantastic times, man. Fantastic fucking times. If you're a city letter carrier, man, I'd be excited about the future of this union. Truly. We're in a fucking shitstorm right now with our union and the incompetency of this fool ass at the top. And I know that a lot of people reached out about the rap session, completely distraught as far as our fool-ass president and the things that he was saying. And they were messaging me saying, I can't tell if he's the president of the union or the postmaster general. That's honest to God what people are messaging me. And I had numerous people message me talking about this motherfucker getting up there pleading the case for the Postal Service, telling us how bad of a situation it is, telling us that, hey, other postal services across the globe are suffering. We're no different. Don't expect anything. Remember a while back when I told you about conditioning the frog? That we're being conditioned by management, right? You're being conditioned by management, but you're also being conditioned by the union, by your president, by your executive vice president, by the director of retirees. You're being conditioned by them that we are the bad guys here. The union, the city letter carrier, we're the bad guys for wanting so much from a company that's losing so much. And we have to quit. We have to give concessions. And by the means, what concessions do we give? Well, you got to give concessions, monetary awards. Have y'all heard that yet about the concessions on the monetary award? We don't need to be asking for that. Remember the stupid ass piece of the pie bullshit? Grievances. We're filing too many grievances. We got to concede that, right? The backlog of grievances, which is biblical right now, almost 40,000. 40,000. Not 4,000, but 40,000 cases backlogged. And so they will wholesale those, just like they did in my region with this retired guy coming out of retirement just to fuck over the city letter carrier. And so they will do that again. And so we are the ones, the city letter carriers are the ones who have been tasked with conceding. We are the ones who have been tasked with that, okay? It's not management because they're still getting their raises, right? They're healthy bonuses, raises. They're still getting that, but they're getting those despite us being broke as far as my president is concerned. The Postal Service is broke. And so we shouldn't expect too much. Meanwhile, motherfuckers over there across the street are giving themselves bonuses, raises, right? They're hiring more and more supervision. Yet we're broke. We're broke. And so to me, if you're broke, nobody gets a raise. Nobody gets a bonus if you're broke, right? That's how I see it. But you have your president getting up there telling us this shit. And I wrote on somebody's post the other day, they talked to me about it, and I said, what your president has become is a mediator. He is a liaison between the Postal Service and the craft. He is not a president. He's not presidential. He is not a leader of men. He is a liaison between the Postal Service and us. He's a tap dancer. He tap dances in front of us singing this Woe Is Me song with his little cane. That's all this motherfucker is a tap dancer. He tap dances in front of us for management, right? And so this motherfucker's tap dancing telling us that the Postal Service is in dire straits. Dire straits. And they have no money to give. Other postal services around the world are suffering. We're no different. And this is the motherfucker whose mantra is fight like hell. This is his calling card, fight like hell. And that's what we're up against. They have no more money. They have nothing to give. Here's his thing, and this is what's happened to him if y'all don't know. The Postal Service has told him, this is all the money we have to give you. Now, you can distribute it as you see fit. That's what's happened. Anybody will tell you. This is all the money we have. This is all the money we can give you. You can distribute it how you see fit. But you'll get no more. And your union has bought that shit. Your president has bought that shit. That this is all the money that they have. Okay? And he'll tell you that. There's just no more money to give. Somebody had a good analogy the other day. He was talking to me. And said that, talking about arbitration. If you go to a butcher in your town. And you said, hey, look, my family's starving. My family is hungry. I need 10 pounds of meat. I need 10 pounds of meat in order to feed my family. That's what it's going to take to us just to survive, to sustain. 10 pounds. And the butcher owning the cattle, right, he tells you, all I can do is give you 5 pounds. That's all I can give you. I can give you no more. But he owns the butchery, right? He owns the butcher shop. He owns the cattle. And so he tells you, hey, all I can give you is 5 pounds. I need 10, though. I've got to have 10 pounds. I've got to have it for my family to even survive. I need 10. All I can do is 5. So you can take the 5 or not. Renfro takes the 5. I'm taking the 5. I'm going to go home and tell my family, I asked for 10. All they could do is 5. You know what arbitration does? An arbitrator will look at everything. Look at the situation of everything. And he's going to say, hey, look here over here. You got all these other cattle. You're going to slaughter another cow, and you're going to give them that other 5 pounds. Okay? Because they need 10. They came to you. You said you could only do 5, but I look at your resources. I'm looking around here, what you own, what you have. You can slaughter another cow and give them that other 5. That's arbitration. That's how that works. The Postal Service will always tell you that they're broke. We've said that a million times. They will always tell you that they're broke. They will always say, this is all I've got to give. Do you know why they do that? Because we've never challenged it. Ever. Even the DAS award, there were so many stipulations in there. This last one we had with Nolan, stipulated after we voted it down because we said we need 10 pounds of meat. The carrier said we need 10 pounds of meat. We told the liaison, your union president, we told the liaison, go back to the Postal Service and ask for more. And he went back with his tail between his legs, apologetically saying, man, these people down here, God, they want the other 5 pounds of meat, man. I know. I told them that 5's all you had. They still want 10. I'm sorry that they're like this. You know, they're such a fucking inconvenience to me, too. I apologize. Can you give me 10 more pounds? Maybe 2 more pounds. 5 pounds is all you got? Okay, I'm sorry. What we'll do is we'll go to the arbitrator and we'll tell him, look, just tell him 5 pounds is all we got. And I'll agree with you on that. I won't challenge you for the other 5 pounds. I won't get into your fucking books. I won't start talking about the money wasted on monetary awards, your failure to abide by the Joint Contract Administration Manual. I won't bring any of that up. I want to talk about the overstaffing on y'all's side. I won't bring up that we're supposed to be making more money than other crafts because we do more than that. I won't bring up the Postal Reorganization Act of 1970 says we can't take those things into consideration. I won't take into the National Arbitrators Award that says that the carriers do more, so they deserve more. I won't do any of that shit. What we'll do is we'll go in there and say, hey, 5 pounds of meat is all we can give, and I will agree with you, and we will fuck over the carrier because I'm a tap dancer. I'll tap dance for you, boss. I'll tap dance for you, boss. And I'll tell my carriers that your situation is one of despair. One of despair. The sad thing is, if that wasn't sad enough, the sad thing is, you've got a business agent. They talked about these things in these little meetings they were having, and they said that the carriers said that they would be comfortable with a 3% raise. We got a 1.3%. The carrier said, hey, 3%, that's 9% at the end of it. And they said the carriers, when they were polled, said that 3%, they would accept that, 3%. You had a business agent get up in that meeting trying to help this fucking buffoon with smoke and mirrors, right? It's a shell game to them. The disrespect that these motherfuckers have for us is unlike anything I've ever seen. You had a business agent get up in this meeting and Renfro's talking about 3% is what the carriers want. And the business agent got up and he said, hey, look, tell them that they did get 3%. And they said, Renfro is looking at him like, what are you talking about? Tell them that they did get 3%. Because with the 1.3 and the COLAs, it added up basically to 3%. And you could see him, oh, yeah, do that. And Renfro looks at his person over here on the side that's taking notes. He said, can we make that work? Can we tell them that? Can we sell that? The individual said, I can sell anything. I can write anything. We can sell that to the carrier. Look, it wasn't the 1.3%. That's not what I was talking. I said 9%. We got you the 9% because we got you these COLAs. Even though we didn't know what the fucking COLA was going to be, we got you that. See there? I was doing a good job. I did do a great job. They think that we're fucking buffoons. They're going to try to sell the fact that we did get 3%. That's what y'all wanted. We did get it because you got the 1.3%, but you also got the COLAs. And when you put that together, it's 3%. It's a shell game. It's smoke and mirrors. It's complete fucking disrespect to us on the workroom floor doing the fucking work. And the motherfuckers that work for us are trying to do a shell game with us. Smoke and mirrors on this fucking sorry-ass motherfucking TA that this bitch did for us. You're going to try to sell me on this shit. You gave me a plate of shit. You told me to eat it. It's all we had to eat. Now you're going to sell me on the fact that it was reality. It was filet mignon. I could have swore to God I ate a plate of shit. No, sir. That was filet. Really? It tasted like shit. It smelled like shit. No, sir. That was filet. Really? Well, damn. That's what your union thinks of you. They forced you to eat shit. Now they're going to try to tell you that it's filet mignon. And so that's where we're at. So you had a business agent try to get up there and help this fool convince us that the shit that they gave us was really a filet mignon. And that's where we are with our union. That's where we are. You better hope and pray that James Henry gets in there. He is the only one running with any fucking integrity. The only one with any fucking integrity. You better pray to God he wins. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. Brother, we're in trouble with the motherfuckers we got in there now. We're in fucking trouble. It's left up to the carrier to concede every fucking thing. Management has conceded nothing in the entire process. Nothing. They are running over us like never before in our history. They are running the fuck over us. And my union is steady trying to get me to concede shit. That's the position we're in right now when I talk about conditioning the frog. We are being conditioned that we are the ones that are the problem. The monetary awards, that's a piece of the pie. Y'all got to quit with this monetary award. The cease and desist. You got to quit with the cease and desist. The grievances, too many grievances being filed. The backlog of grievances, wholesaling that shit. Pennies on the dollar. It's all a fucking scam. All that shit. That backlog of grievances. You've got the upper echelon of management telling the DRT to no longer settle for things that have been settled for. That's a clear violation of 15. Why have a decision at the DRT if it's not going to set precedent for things that are like those things when they come up again? That's what that's for. But you're intentionally sabotaging the grievance process. And it saves the Postal Service money and the union money. And the carrier's the one who gets fucked over. That's the reason you need somebody with integrity that puts the city letter carrier first. I've been saying it forever. Now y'all understand what I'm talking about. Put the city letter carrier first. Love the city letter carrier. All this other shit, man, it's going to take care of itself. All that. I want my carriers rich. I don't want my union rich. I want my carriers rich. I want my carriers making more money than they've ever made. Not my union. Union works for me. I don't work for the union. The union works for me. They should be working for my livelihood, right? I know that, of course, they can strike, but the dock workers, when their companies told them that they didn't have any more money, remember that? They walked the fuck out. And they left. And the president of dock workers said what? I've said it a million times on here. What'd he say? I'll shut the whole fucking country down. I'll shut the whole fucking country down if you can't find, unless you find a little bit more money to give them. And you know what miraculously showed up? More money. They went back to work. Now everybody's happy. That's a president. That's a president. Now they have the threat of a strike, but we can't strike. We've got a weak-ass union. We're fucked. We're completely fucked. You know? We can't strike. We can't strike. But my fucking union's just sorry as fuck. My president, straight bitch ass. Getting up there at the rap session, tap dancing for these motherfuckers about how bad of a situation we're in. The union, the Postal Service, I'm just telling y'all, it's bad. It is bad. Don't expect much. It is bad. My God, we're in trouble. I don't know how we're going to survive. I just don't know what we're going to do. That's your president. If I'm the president, I'm going to say, hey, look, I met with them. They said they ain't got no money. I told them, get your fucking shit ready. We're going to arbitration. We're going to see if you got any or not. Let's get a forensic audit in here and get your books and look at that shit and see if y'all got some money. How about the staffing situation on y'all's side? Let's see if that's some money. What about your bonuses? And you know what your executive vice president said about that when somebody questioned him about, well, they're getting raises, they're getting bonuses. Y'all remember what he said? Well, there's less of them than there are of us. It's easy to give them that money because there's not as many in management as there is of us. So it's an easier sell to give them bonuses and to give them raises. I thought we were broke, bitch. I thought we were broke. It's not about how many there are of them and how many there are of us. And so they get a larger raise and a bonus. We don't get nothing but a plate of shit that now they're trying to sell us as filet mignon. It isn't that. We're broke. Motherfucker, if we're broke, you know what that means? As a company, if we're broke, nobody gets a raise. Nobody gets a bonus. You know why? Because we're fucking broke, bitch. That's why. Fuck. It's not rocket science. Can you imagine the Postal Service going in there and telling an arbitrator, if we say, well, look, they're still giving themselves healthy raises, healthy bonuses. Yes, Mr. Arbitrator, but see, there's not as many of us as there is of them. And so we can make sure that we're making great livelihoods over here. But them, there's more of them over there. So they're going to have to keep eating shit. We're eating at high-priced restaurants. They're eating off the floor. And but it's because there's more of them. Well, if you're broke, motherfucker, you're broke. How in the fuck you going to try to... The shit they try to sell us, man. Now you got motherfucking business agents said, just tell them you did get 3%. God, they think that we're fucking morons down here. It's what they think. You got motherfucking president talking about it's an inconvenience that they're fucking with us on the workroom floor over something he did with the scanners. It's an inconvenience. That's your president. Now the motherfucker's got his tap dancing shoes on talking about selling the Postal Service's woe is me bullshit to us. Don't expect much. I don't, bitch. Trust me, I don't. Believe that. I don't expect much from your cowardly ass, motherfucking ass. I don't expect much. This fight like hell bullshit. Motherfucker don't know the first fucking thing about fighting. I told y'all long ago. I said I wasn't going to do this, didn't I? I say that it's funny the people that come up to me and they say, hey, I love it when you say you're not going to cuss, and about 10 minutes into you're cussing. I don't come into it planning on it. I don't. And I'm not like this if you ever meet me. I'm the nicest guy in the world. But when you love the city letter carrier and you have a passion like nothing else for the city letter carrier, it should piss you the fuck off. What's happening to the city letter carrier? It should piss you the fuck off, man. That we're being played like motherfucking clowns by these dumb fucks at the top. But you remember when I told you about, long ago, I had the episode about the mechanic. I said, you got one mechanic you go to, and he comes out in his overalls, and he's got his hands are greasy. He's got the old raggedy ass greasy towel he's wiping his hands with. His face got grease on it. And you talk to him about your car. He said, I can fix that car. This is exactly what's wrong with it. Oh, have you ever fixed cars? But I've fixed thousands just like that, and I can fix it. That's all I do is fix cars. And then you go to another mechanic, comes out in a three-piece suit, $2,000 watch, got his alligator dress shoes on, and you fix cars. I know everything that's wrong with it. I can tell you every fucking thing that's wrong with that car. I can tell you where the pieces were made. I can tell you where the parts were made at, how you put them in there. I can tell you everything about the car. Have you ever worked on one? No, I've never worked on a car before. But I can tell you everything about the car. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. James Henry's come out with grease on his hands, ragged, overalls. Motherfucker's worked on shit. He's fought for shit. He's done shit. And you got him going up against somebody who's in a three-piece suit, who speaks smartly, who's a smart-ass speaker. A tap dancing motherfucker's all he is. A liaison, a mediator. That's all we've got, man. Motherfucker's going to spend a rap session with this woe is me bullshit. He's a mechanic in a three-piece suit, $5,000 alligator shoes on, making $300,000 a year to sell us down the fucking river. And that's all that motherfucker's good for. You got James Henry, or you got Brian Renfro. That's it. You got James Henry, the establishment. That's it. That's where you're at. And I see these people coming on to the CLC, these fucking dogs. And I couldn't be more excited. That's why. That's why. Give me the fucking mechanics that have been in the fucking cars fixing shit, not the ones been in fucking offices with other people looking at shit. Only thing he's ever done is, all he knows is what he's been told. That's all this motherfucker knows is what he's been told. That's it. That's it. He's never done a fucking thing. All he knows is what he's been told. He's never been in the fucking streets, man. He has never been in those fucking streets. And it shows. It shows motherfucker got played and is still getting played by the service. They own this motherfucker somehow. I don't know. They own this motherfucker. Period. A fucking disgrace. You go to the COP, all this motherfucker does is talk. 4 hours of talking. That's it. 4 hours of fucking talking. Then you get the director of retirees, 4 hours of fucking talking. Everybody wants to fucking talk. Ain't about shit. Ain't about no fucking action. Just talking. You ever been in a fight? You ever seen somebody get in a fight and they talk for 4 hours? No, brother. If we scrapping, we're scrapping. Motherfucker, when we walk up, knuckles are going upside somebody's head. That's it. That's how you do it. You don't sit there and fucking talk all the fucking time. Fight like hell, win. Motherfucker, you can't quit talking to fight. Motherfucker, we're going to mess up some hair. Mess up some fucking hair, bitch. Quit talking about fighting. You the motherfucker that's going to walk up on somebody, y'all walk around in circles for 45 minutes talking about what y'all going to do to each other. Nobody throw a fucking blow. One. Motherfucker, if I know we going to scrap, brother, we don't talk about shit. We scrapping. That's it. You walk up throwing blows. You don't walk up and say, we fighting. Motherfucker, that shit's already over with. That conversation's done. We meeting up, brother. This motherfucker will talk about fight like hell and will talk you to fucking death. He don't have to throw one punch. I die just from him talking. He has talked me to fucking death. He's talked me into submission. I'm tapping and motherfucker ain't throwing a blow. Just talked my ass into conceding. Like, just please, God, quit talking to me. I'm tapping out just from you talking. Maybe that's what he's talking about, fight like hell. It should be talk like hell. This motherfucker's mantra should be talk like hell. Ain't fought for shit, conceded every fucking thing. Everybody that is under him's conceded everything. It should be talk like hell. That's what this motherfucker's mantra should be. Talk like hell. Get him some shirts that say talk like hell. That's all the motherfucker knows is to talk. That's it. God, fight like hell. At what? At what, bitch? All you've done is been a liaison between the service and the craft. That's all you've done. All this fight like hell bullshit. When does that kick in? I want to know. I'll be there, brother. I'll be there. Ready. When? You can't quit talking. Shit. Fight like hell. Motherfucker ain't ever been in a fight. He wouldn't know what to do. The only fight he's ever been in is with them bushes. And them motherfuckers won. That's terrible. That's terrible. Motherfucker got knocked out by some bushes. Fuck. Just feet straight up in the fucking air. Just KO'd by a shrub. God, that's my president. Motherfuck me. Oh. God. What has happened to my union, man? This is somebody. Oh shit! I can just see the motherfuckers up with them smelling salts trying to get his ass from where he got knocked out by them bushes. Oh shit! Oh fuck, man! God, what has happened to us? Truly, what has fucking happened? I mean, I've had more people message me about that rap session just completely depressed. He's not a leader of men. He's not a leader at all. I don't want to hear about their situation. I don't care. There's a screenshot that somebody put up. I thought it was perfect. Perfectly said. It was perfectly said. Here's what it said. Somebody put up there about him doing this woe is me. This person said, the USPS choosing to whack itself in the forehead with a hammer is none of my business. It's none of my concern. I swear the top brass of this organization has the financial savvy of a 14-year-old who found a Benjamin on the ground and decided to buy 20 fidget spinners with it. I'm going to read that again because it's as perfect as a description as our fool-ass leaders as anything I've ever seen. The USPS choosing to whack itself in the forehead with a hammer is none of my concern. I swear the top brass of this organization has the financial savvy of a 14-year-old who found a Benjamin on the ground and decided to buy 20 fidget spinners with it. That's exactly what we're dealing with. They tell him they're broke. This motherfucker's bought it hook, line, and sinker, man. I've never seen a president buy shit hook, line, and sinker like he has. And will come tap dancing his way onto the stage talking about the woe is me. Woe is me, man. The service, woe is me. God, they're broke. Woe is me. Fight like hell. God. Anyway, you're being conditioned, city letter carriers. You're being conditioned. They're going to try to sell you now on the fact that they did get 3% because some fool-ass business agent got up and told them, hey, tell them they did get 3%. Huh? What? What are you talking about? They didn't. It's 1.3. Tell him he did because the COLA added up to 3%. Can I do that? Can I sell that? I can sell anything. Get ready. The shit they served you, they're going to tell you it's state. Just get ready for that shit because you got some fool-ass business agent getting up there trying to save this motherfucker. God. They can't be gone soon enough, man. Them motherfuckers came. I want fucking fighters. I want motherfucking that just a scrap. Just fucking when I was at the jail, I'll tell you this. This is what I want. When I was at the jail, I ran the third floor. Now the third floor to me was the most dangerous floor. When you came in, you came to the third floor. Yeah, they didn't have any kind of classification for you yet. So you could have some serious offenders, some not so serious offenders. And so shit went sideways fast. And one night I came in, and I was on third shift. Second shift, the guards were saying, hey man, y'all gonna have hell in the morning when y'all feed chow. Y'all gonna have hell in the morning, especially with A cell. They've been at it all damn night. And so I was like, what's up? They're like, when we were feeding them, they ran out of something. SOS, I know military, y'all have heard of SOS. It's called shit on a shingle. It's meat with potatoes and stuff like that. And they call it shit on a shingle. I remember that. It was SOS. They said that about halfway through feeding, they ran out of SOS. And so they sent up bologna. And the inmates lost their shit because they were wanting SOS, ended up with bologna. It's a big deal. Said, man, they were fixing a fucking riot. It took forever to get them back in their cells. And they had been going at it all night. So much so that we had to turn the TV off on them early. That made shit worse. And you can hear them down there now. They're going fucking crazy. So just be ready. In the morning, there's going to be hell to pay when they come out because they're pissed. I said, all right. I said, I got you. I appreciate it. So you go down there and you count the inmates. They're calling you everything but a child of God. They're going crazy in there, loud as fuck, kicking their cells, pissed off. And so I remember Clint Prim. He was the supervisor. Big dude, man. Badass dude. Prim comes up during the night and he's like, hey, man. He's like, I'm going to send some more guards down here for you at breakfast. I said, no, don't do that. He said, Corey, y'all going to need it, man. He said, the supervisor informed us what happened up here. He said, we're going to send you some people. I said, do not do that, Prim. I'm telling you, don't do that. He said, Corey. I said, look, the last thing I need is for those inmates to think that they can cause all this hell and we're going to have people running down here because the guards down here can't handle it. I said, do not do that. I said, it's going to put me in a bad situation. He's like, Corey, y'all going to get run up. I said, do not do it. Because there's 48 inmates per cell block. Okay, we had 4 cell blocks, but only one came out at a time. That's 48. There's 3 of us. And so I said, I got this. I promise. I got it. Because the 2 guards I had that worked with me were 2 of the baddest motherfuckers I've ever known. One, if you're a Giants fan, New York Giants, Kalen Bird. He was a defensive back for the Giants. Now, by the time he was at the jail, he weighed about probably 240. And one of the best, the baddest motherfucker I've ever seen fighting. He was a born fighter. This dude would fight. I would put him against 10 inmates. That's how bad. Fast, strong, and had fucking nerves of steel. You could not shake that dude. And the other is a friend of mine on Facebook. If you ever look up my friends, his name is Larry Pearson. We called him Big P. Now, he's the one who would take me down every night and work out with me because I wasn't very big when I got to the jail. Now, he helped me get big. But it's Larry Pearson's the one who did it. He was a professional bodybuilder. He was about 6'3". When he was not training, he was about 300. When he would train, he'd get down to about 280, 275. Huge individual. Also, nerves of steel. A bad individual. And I would put him in a cell block and he would wreck shit. And so they worked with me. So I knew that I was in good hands. And so, time for breakfast, right? Here's where rubber meets the fucking road. Okay? I stood at the door when they come out because I'm the lead officer. I'm going to take the brunt of it if shit goes down. Kalen Bird stood at the chow hall door. He was the fastest of all of us. And if shit went down, he could get to me faster than Pearson could because Pearson was so damn big. And so I need immediate help if some shit went down. Because if it's like ants swarming your ass, you're going to have 4 or 5 of them on you before you can even blink. And then Pearson, as big as that motherfucker, when he got there, it was Katie bar the door. And so they were lined up. You'd call in there 15 minutes to chow, 10 minutes to chow, 5 minutes to chow. Doors would bust open. Here they'd come. So as soon as the door opened up, I knew they weren't going to do shit. I knew they weren't going to bust a fucking egg. So they came out. I'd pat them down to make sure they weren't carrying anything in the chow hall. Nobody said a word. I'm patting them down, patting this one down, patting this one down. Kaylin Bird was standing at the door. They'd go in, they'd get their tray, and they'd sit down. Not a peep from any of them. So they all come out. I shut the door, and I hear this knock on the fire escape door. I look back, because ain't nobody supposed to be on the fire escape. I look back, there's Prim. His face in the damn fire escape. I go over there. I'm like, what are you doing? He's got guards lined up all the way up the steps. So the same key that unlocked the cell door unlocks the fire escape. So I unlocked the fire escape, opened up. I said, what are you doing? He's like, man, we're here just in case. I said, brother, I told you we were good. He said, I know it. He said, just in case. I said, I got it, brother. I said, I appreciate it, man. So everything's fine. Do you know how I knew that they weren't going to do shit? Do you know how I knew that they weren't going to bust a fucking grape? Anybody that's worked at the jail will be able to tell you this. It was by their shoes. It was by the shoes that they had on. Inmates had 2 pairs of shoes. Flip-flops that were rubber. And gym shoes, no laces. So you could have slip-on gym shoes, which are rubber. Rubber soled. Or just gym shoes, period, but no laces, right? Anytime you're going to fight, anytime the inmates were going to fight, they wore their gym shoes. 100% of the time. Anytime they were flip-flops, there was going to be no drama because they were not going to fight in their flip-flops. They were going to fight if they had them gym shoes on. If I opened up that door and saw that all of them were wearing their gym shoes, I would have told Bird and P, watch out. Watch out. They came out in their flip-flops. Everything was good. What I want with me, when shit goes down, are those that I know are going to get in that motherfucker and get right. Fucking scrap. I don't concern myself with anything else. I'm not worried about anything else. I want motherfuckers on the same mission as me. Motherfuckers, I know that when shit hits the fucking fan, these motherfuckers going to be there, and they're going to get there with bad intention. That's the CLC. That's James Henry. That's the slate he's putting together. That motherfuckers been in the fucking streets, been on the fucking floor. You've got cowardice on a biblical scale right now as far as the slate that's in there. Motherfuckers don't know how to fight, have never been in a fucking fight. That's why we're getting run over like we are. Period. End of story. The reason we're conceding every fucking thing is because motherfuckers don't know how to fight for anything. That's why. I have seen some shit, man, at that jail. I have been in some situations. Most people piss their fucking pants. But I was surrounded by motherfuckers that I knew if shit hit the fan, these motherfuckers were coming, son. It was time to rumble. That's what we need with our fucking union, man. We're getting run over because we don't have people in position that fight. They don't know how to fight. They will tell you they know how to fight. They will tell you to fight like hell. Motherfuckers don't know how to fight. It's a different kind of fighting, but it's fighting nonetheless. You got to know how to get in them fucking streets, man. You got to know how to get on that workroom floor and fight for the city letter carrier. That's what you've got to have, and we don't have it. And we're being punished daily because of it. I'm going to read some screenshots, and then I got to get into this education, man. I told you I was going to get off a little bit. But fuck, I got a tap dancer as a fucking president. Fucking clueless as fuck. So, I'm going to read to y'all some screenshots just from this week. Just from this week. Here's a stay focused, stay safe, no cell phone use while driving. It's a form that they handed out, okay? Why this matters, it gives all this shit. And at the bottom it says signature, printed name, and date. It says this came from safety. And we all had to raise our hand and pledge to drive safely and sign this form. I asked what PS form it was, and they said, it's the form your supervisor is giving you. When most of us refused to sign it, management really got irritated with us. I said, I'll address that. And they said, yeah, they also told us their goal was going for a 45-minute office time. So they're going to grieve the form, obviously, but here's management, okay? Here's management. They always have their gym shoes on. That's what you got to give them credit for. They're always fucking with us. Always fucking with us. The problem is they don't know how to fight. They're always wanting to. They're always doing shit. They're always starting shit. They don't know how to fight. Unfortunately, we're not educating ourselves on how to fight because you have people at the top who have never fought before. But you got to give it to management. They're constantly fucking with us. So here's a safety form. You had to raise your right hand and pledge that you're going to be safe and then sign this form. And they said, oh yeah, also we're shooting for 45 minutes of office time. No longer an hour, right? No longer an hour. It's going to be 45 minutes. Then there's this whiteboard that somebody sent me. It was on social media. Goal, 60 minutes or less in the office. That's the goal. 60 minutes or less in the office. No empty equipment in trucks or at cases. Clean up after yourself. AM duties. Clock in on time. Check vehicles. 3 minutes. Now here you have, you're in the process of 6-day counts, right? Anything after August up to December can be counted. And so they're going to tell you 3 minutes to check your vehicle, right? That's not contractual. I would grieve that, right? You have that long-ass checklist you got to do. It's 26 things. That long-ass checklist you got to do every single day. But they're trying to affect your routes. And if you got a joint process, which a lot of people think is coming, it's really going to affect your routes because they're talking about the goal is 60 minutes or less. You know, they had the AVP come out talking about our metric is 60 minutes. Now it's 45, it's 60 or less. 3 minutes to check your vehicle. They're trying to manipulate route data when they do that. For those officers that don't know, that have never been getting education, that have never had anything come down from their branch president or their business agent's office, the sad thing is about 50% of the people I talk to, whenever they ask me something, I'll tell them, contact your business agent. Who's that? Who is it? I have to say, well, where are you from? And I'll tell them who their business agent is. That's not their fault. That's the business agent's fault. Because they're not out in the field meeting their people saying, hey, I'm the business agent. Okay? Any issues you got, if your president can't help, holler at me. I'll take care of it. But you got shit going up like this because management always has their gym shoes on. They're always wanting to pick a fight. Check vehicles 3 minutes or less. First pull of mail, letters, flats, and spurs. Office break, service talk. So they're telling that you're going to take an office break after you pull your mail. I grieve that. All mail is up before pulling down. Scan hot case and pull down. Move to the street on your scanner. Use load tool. Now, JB just won an arbitration on the load tool. I'll read that Monday. Use load tool. 22 minutes of load time. Swear to God, this is all on the same board. 22 minutes of load time. Where'd they get that from? Your tap dancing president. That's where they got that from. 22 minutes of load time. No such fucking thing. No such thing. 22 minutes of load time. All this shit I'm grieving. Every fucking bit. 22 minutes of load time is a parameter that was put on 1983, the memo, by your president, who thought that it would be smart to put times on a memo. PM duties, unload your truck, should not take, it looks like 30 minutes to unload. Put away outgoing mail, 3M mail, red line daily. So that's a red line policy. Grieve that. Put away outgoing mail, 3M mail, red line daily. Okay, now they got the red line policy. Move to the office on your scanner. 5 minutes of office time. End your tour. All of this is on the same fucking board. The whole board's a grievance. But that's what we're up against. Do you know why? Because management will never stop. They will never, ever stop. They will constantly do things to fuck with us. constantly do things that are not contractual to fuck with us. But hold us to the fucking letter of the contract. If we at any time violate one portion, we're going to get disciplined. These motherfuckers are constant in their pressure. You got to give them that. You got to give them that. The motherfuckers don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, but they will do whatever the boss tells them to because they're not held to any kind of contractual compliance like we are. Their bosses don't care if they abide by the contract or not. They don't give a fuck if they lose $1 million or not. They don't give a shit. They will constantly do shit to fuck with us. You know why? Because you got motherfucking tap dancers at the top. Just singing a fucking song. In one whiteboard, 60 minutes or less. 3 minutes to check your vehicle. Take a break as soon as you rob up. 22 minutes of load time. Should not take you 30 minutes to, it looks like 30 minutes to unload, or it could be 3. Put away outgoing mail. Red line policy. Red line daily. 5 minutes PM office time. That's what we're up against. That's what we're up against. Good morning, Corey. I wanted to tell you this sooner, but I've been looking for a new mold to get it in writing. My favorite clerk left out our office, and she's the one that got me all the manager's email traffic, but I'll just have to tell you what's coming down in Indiana. Our local management has been told 30 minutes of office time and 10 minutes to load. I had a new supervisor, and she's had told all the city carriers 4 times what the higher-ups are demanding. Of course, nothing from my business agent. Management has moved past the 45-minute office time and is now pushing 30 minutes of office time and refuses to acknowledge the 33 minutes of fixed office time. No discipline yet. But it's because my DRT no longer backs the contract. Everything falls under Article 3 now. So now you have this place in Indiana. They're saying there's 30 minutes of office time and 10 minutes to load. They're not acknowledging the 33 minutes of fixed office time. Management will never stop. They will never stop. They're dishonest. They have no integrity. They're liars. They're cheaters. They're stealers. That's all they know how to do, and you have to have somebody in there that knows how to fight, period. You've got to have individuals in this union that know how to fight and want to fight, look forward to fighting, enjoy the fight. They will never stop. Here's another thing. All employees are expected to maintain their assigned schedule and must make every effort to avoid unscheduled absences. This was put on the time clock. As per the ELM, Section 51143, in addition, employees must provide acceptable evidence for absences when required. Deems desirable will be enforced and reviewed this Thanksgiving Day holiday, in accordance with the ELM Section 513.3. Deems desirable will be enforced again. And then you'll have people say, no such thing as deems desirable. There's no such thing. Had another one. I have over a year ongoing case against management. Today I about lost it out of being shocked by how ignorant management is. I was told that every loop, no matter the route, is 15 minutes each. I asked where does 204B get that information, and he asked carriers what they heard. Some said 15 minutes is what they were told. The shop steward said it's not, and he's lying. I pointed out a route where an entire street is a single loop. I was told 1 hour by a carrier. Then I asked, why isn't it 15 minutes? All loops are 15 minutes, no matter the route. She said, that's what I was told, is 15 minutes. So you got a 204B telling new hires, every loop, 15 minutes. No matter the loop. Every loop is 15 minutes. That's what we're up against. Do you know why? We have no fighters. No fighters. But anyway, that's where we're at. Let's get into some education. Y'all want to? I've got a couple of forms of discipline, and then I'm going to do this past practice on things at the case. But I wanted to go over this discipline because two reasons. I said I would. I told the individuals I would. And I like going over discipline with y'all. Just the charge. Reading the charge. Beating discipline based off of the charge. Okay? And the first one, it's a notice of suspension. No time off. It's a 7-day. Okay. The charge is improper conduct. October 27th of 2025. On Thursday, October 2nd. Now this is 25 days later. You failed to follow instructions and failed to protect accountable items entrusted to you. Specifically, you failed to keep your assigned aero lock key attached to your clothing by a chain at all times while on duty. As a result, you lost the aero key entrusted to you. I conducted a pre-disciplinary interview with you on October 8th, okay, in the presence of your union representative. During the interview, you acknowledged your requirement to discharge your duties conscientiously and effectively. Further, you acknowledged that by signing out an aero key, you're assuming responsibility for that aero key. When asked, do you know that you're required to have the aero key always attached to you to keep from losing it, you provided not until after the stand-up talk. When asked, was the aero key attached to you on October 2nd? And if no, why not? You provided it wasn't. I never leave the truck with it. The chain length is too short. I didn't know how to put it on my belt loop. When asked where, all this writing is terrible. Where you have the aero key that day, you provided in the truck until I noticed it was gone. Based on the evidence of record, which includes your answers during the PDI, I find that your conduct was improper. I find that nothing short of a 7-day suspension, no time off described above is warranted. You have exhibited improper conduct. Your actions are found to be in direct conflict with the following. Now, this individual has no discipline. They have no letter of warning. So they jump straight to a 7-day. Now, here's your actions are found to be in direct conflict of the following. Employee and Labor Relations Manual, ELM. 665.11 Loyalty. Employees are expected to be loyal to the United States government and uphold the policies and regulations of the Postal Service. 66513 Discharge of Duties. Employees are expected to discharge their assigned duties conscientiously and effectively. The other one's covered up and obey the instructions of their supervisors. Handbook M41, 112, 112.3, 112.31, 1.2.32, 26 accountable items, 261 accountability procedures, 261 acquiring accountable items, 261.11, 261.2 receiving your accountable items, 261.21 keys, 43 clearance for accountable items, 431 keys, Postal Operations Manual. Now we got the POOM in there. 633.4 safekeeping keys, 633.42 aero lock keys, 665.15 obedience to orders, and then you got review and concurrence. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 things cited on this 7-day suspension. Now here's what I'm going to do. And this is what I did, and I had a case, I've done this exact thing. It's about an aero key that was lost. It's C31277. 31277. And they did the same thing. Okay? All these provisions. What I'm going to do if I'm the informal Step A representative is I'm going to go in there and I'm going to have all of these written down on a piece of paper. I'm not going to have the discipline with me. I'm going to have all these written down on a piece of paper, and I'm going to ask the issuing or the supervisor I'm meeting with, I'm going to say, can you tell me what each one of these provisions applies to or states? And I'm going to start reading from the top. Can you tell me what 665.11 of the ELM, what it pertains to? Can you tell me what 665.13 of the ELM pertains to? And I'm going to go down each one of them. How about 26? How about Handbook M41, 112.3? How about 261.2, 261.21, 43, 431. How about the POOM, Postal Operations Manual, 663.4? Every one I'm going to go down there and ask what it pertains to. They're not going to know a single one. When I'm at the formal step A, I'm going to do the same thing. Okay? Because in arbitration, that's exactly what I did. That was the case. I don't know if you remember. I talked about it a while back. When I asked the supervisor, they had testified already, and I'm cross-examining. And I said, I'm going to ask you some contractual provisions. I'm going to ask you to explain to me what each one talks about. Okay? And I started doing that. I said this and that, and they look for their file. They start opening their file. I said, don't open your file. I said, don't open your file. Just tell me if you know what each one of these pertains to. And they didn't know a single one. Not a one. And that's what I did. And so Arbitrator Wallet starts talking about. When they finished, I said, now can you tell me where you asked this individual about each one? And this is what it says on page 7. This is me cross-examining her. Supervisor Reed acknowledged that in an investigative interview, she did not specifically ask Mr. Edgerson about ELM 66513, discharge of duty. She said that she did ask him about ELM 66515, obedience to orders. She acknowledged that neither of these provisions were referred to in her notes on the investigative interview. Supervisor Reed also acknowledged that she did not specifically ask him about M41 112.1 or 112.2. We note that the first question in the investigative interview asked, are you aware of M41 112.3, 112.3.1, and 112.3.2? Security, that you must protect all mail, money, and equipment entrusted to your care, and that you must return all mail, money, and equipment to the post office at the end of the workday. Mr. Edgerson answered yes. Supervisor Reed said that she did the disciplinary action request on the same day as the investigative interview. The disciplinary action request lists the rules violated as 66513, 66515, M41.121, 112.3.1, 112.3.2. Supervisor Reed acknowledged that she did not ask him about these rules at the investigative interview. With the exception of M41 112.31 and 112.32, she never asked Mr. Edgerson about the rules cited in the notice of removal. We note those rules are M39 66513 and 66515 and M41 112.1 and 112.2. And so Arbitrator Wallace talked about that being a procedural due process violation when you talk about the employee's day in court to answer to the charges being brought against him. Anytime I see about 20 provisions, I'm going to look on that investigative interview. And I'm going to look and see if they asked him about each one. If they didn't, I'm going to raise that as a procedural due process violation. Because one of the sub-questions of just cause is what? Was a thorough investigation completed? This is the day that this is the employee's day in court privilege, right? Where they're made aware of the charges being brought against them and able to answer to those charges. Also, the very first sub-question is their rule. He stated he didn't know the rule, right? And so I'm going to use those two. And then the very first sentence of Article 16. You got to be corrective. You can't be punitive. I have no discipline. You jump straight to a 7-day. Now they said they would reduce it to a letter of warning for a year. And I'm not going to let them oversell discipline. If I have no discipline, you're not going to jump to a 7-day trying to sell me on a letter of warning. That's just not going to happen. And so there's that one. If you got C 31277, 31277, look at it because it's very similar to this. But I'm always, if they're going to put all those provisions, I'm going to look at the II, make sure that all those have been asked about. If not, especially on the concurrence, I'm going to question the concurring official and ask them, do they see a problem with the investigative interview having these questions, these provisions asked about, and the letter or the 7-day having 10 more added to it? Ask if they have a problem with it. Don't matter what they say, yes or no, it doesn't matter because they're going to get destroyed in arbitration, okay? And so there's your one about that, just based off of the charge. Here's another one that's very interesting. And when I talk about discipline, I always say make sure that you're looking at everything. From the top to the bottom, everything in between, every line, every date, every sentence, make sure you're looking at it, every single thing. And make sure you know Article 16. Article 16.8, concurrence. right? There has to be some cursory review of the information at the time before concurrence can be given, right? You can't just have a rubber stamping of discipline, okay? Here we have a letter of warning, and it's dated November 14th. That's the very top, November 14th, okay? Subject, letter of warning. Your actions are unacceptable, therefore I'm issuing you this official disciplinary letter of warning for the following reasons. Charge 1. You are charged with failure to follow instructions regarding your safety on November 13th at 2025. Now, November 13th, 2025. Now, I just read up here at the top that this letter of warning was November 14th, right? You got November 14th, and the incident was November 13th. I got a problem with that, don't y'all? You were observed driving LLV number this southbound on the 400 block of Scenic Drive. As you drove past your supervisor's vehicle parked on the right, you were observed not wearing your seatbelt. Now, I don't know how they can see that. It says lap or shoulder. You can't see my lap belt from the outside unless my seat is way up high. While your vehicle was in motion, your supervisor immediately approached you and asked why you were not wearing your seatbelt. You replied, "I thought I was." It's a great answer. Also, you were asked why you were not curbing your wheels while parking and exiting your vehicle on a hill. When asked about stand-up safety talks regarding curbing your wheels, you mentioned there are quite a few safety talks to keep up with. Your actions are in violation of postal rules and regulations, which include but are not limited to the following. Now, you're charged with failure to follow instructions, right, regarding your safety. Now, here's the provisions. M41 812.3, seatbelts, talks about seatbelts must be worn. ELM 831.332, responsibilities. The drivers must drive safely, defensively, extend courtesy in all situations, not use a cell phone. ELM 814.2, responsibilities. All employees are responsible for complying with OSHA and Postal Service and all that bullshit. ELM 814.2, responsibilities. All employees are responsible for D, performing all duties in a safe manner. ELM 814.2, responsibilities. Got that again. Okay. All employees are responsible for driving defensively and professionally and extending courtesy in all situations. So I've got ELM 814.2, responsibilities. All employees are responsible for D, performing all duties in a safe manner. Then I've got it again. ELM 814.2, responsibilities. Got G. Down here's another one. ELM 665.13, discharge of duties. Employees are expected to discharge their assigned duties conscientiously and effectively. Okay. It is hoped that this letter of warning will serve to impress upon you the seriousness of your actions. And if you're having difficulties, which I may not be aware of, you need additional assistance or instructions, all that shit. Then you got a supervisor of customer service, okay? Then you got a concurring official on a letter of warning, which is not required, only for suspensions. So you got Mary Basnet, postmaster, concurring official, concurring manager. I'm going to take advantage of that. Even though there is no requirement, an arbitrator will shoot that down. Because here's what I've got. I've got the occurrence on November 13th. I've got a letter of warning on November 14th. When was the investigative interview? Was it on the 14th? It had to have been. Because the incident was the 13th, this letter of warning was written and issued and concurred on the 14th. How is that possible? I'm going to question the concurring official. Talk to me about this letter of warning. It happened on the 12th. On the 13th, I'm sorry. Happened on the 13th. I've got an investigation to prove guilt, all done in one afternoon. I've got a problem with that. Here's my biggest problem. You charged me with failure to follow instructions. Not one provision cited talks about failure to follow instructions. Not one. You know what I'm going to tell an arbitrator when I get in arbitration? There is no requirement to follow management's instructions. You know what they're going to do? They're going to laugh. And they're going to see Here's a charge, no different than the charge in court. Remember what we talk about? This is the charge, no different than the charge in court. And I'm going to tell the arbitrator, Mr. Arbitrator, there is no requirement for me to follow management's instructions. And they're going to say, bullshit, there is a requirement. Show it to me. Show it to me on here. And I'm going to tell the supervisor, ma'am, let me see, his name is Ted. Say, sir, I say there is no requirement to follow your instructions. There is none. Because what I see in the first sub-question of just cause is there a rule? If there is a rule, it must be written. You can't just tell me there's a rule. You got to show me a rule. And so what is the rule that I have to follow your instructions? Because I say I don't have to. Where's the rule that I do? It's not on here. Then there's no such rule. If this charge is no different than the charge in court, and I'm going to tell the arbitrator in my closing, Mr. Arbitrator, I understand fully about the employee's requirement to follow instructions, but this letter of warning has left it off of there. They omitted the one thing that they charged them with. They charged them with failure to follow instructions. The one rule they don't have on here, failure to follow instructions. Your actions are in violation of postal rules and regulations, which include but are not limited to the following. And not one provision talks about my requirement to follow anybody's instructions. And you never told me whose instructions I didn't follow. Whose instructions? Everybody's instructions? You talk about safety talks. Like you said, I got 1,000 of those. So, when you look at letters of warning or any form of discipline, make sure you're looking at everything. I've got this November 14th. It's issued, written, concurred on the 14th. This happened on the 13th. You charge me with failure to follow instructions. Not one provision cited talks about failure to follow instructions. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do there. And in arbitration, I swear to God, that's what I'm going to say. Because I don't care. In arbitration, I'll say, Mr. Arbitrator, I'm not required to follow anybody's instructions. And they can't show me where I have to. And the concurring official, if they come in there, even though there's no requirement, so the arbitrator probably wouldn't even let them. There's no requirement to have concurrence on a letter of warning. But if they came in there, I'm going to tell them, where's my requirement to follow anybody's instructions? Show me that on this letter of warning, where it says I have to follow somebody's instructions contractually, other than you just telling me that. And so that's what I'm going to do with that one, okay? You got a concurrence, you don't need it, but I would question them anyway. And I would ask them that, because it doesn't matter, it's not on there. Don't matter what you say, it's not on there, okay? Now, I think I've got another. Here's another letter of warning that I was given this week. No, this one was on social media. Subject letter of warning. This official disciplinary letter of warning is being issued to you for the following reasons. Charge, failure to follow instructions, unacceptable work performance. Specifically, on Monday, October 23rd, 2025, DOAS record reveals you exceeded your office time by 1 hour and 31 minutes. An investigative interview was conducted on October 24th to provide you an opportunity to explain. In the interview, you stated your projection was not correct and would have to check your scanner time and clock rings. I have taken everything you have said and other aspects of my investigation into consideration. I find that you failed to perform your duties satisfactory as instructed and within office standard. Your workload did not justify you exceeding your earned office time. And I would ask him what earned office time. You hear that all the time. What is earned office time? What does that mean? Earned office time. You were observed by management for any time wasting practices that impacted your leave time. And you were observed talking to other carriers at their case while not working in your case, as you stated. You were observed leaving your case multiple times and was told by management to go back to your case and finish casing. Your actions are in violation of the following. Handbook M41, Section 112.1, provide reliable and efficient service. Federal statutes provide penalties for persons who knowingly or willfully obstruct or retard the mail. They got that underlined. Retard the mail The statutes do not afford employees immunity from arrest or violation, so they're doing criminal statutes. Obey the instructions of your manager. It is your responsibility to inform management when you're of the opinion that you'll be unable to case all mail distributed to the route, perform other required duties, and all that bullshit. So you got management openly violating the DOS memo. It says specifically on Monday, October 23rd, 2025, DOS record reveals you exceeded your office time by 1 hour and 31 minutes. Here's what's so funny. I'm going to read you all the ones that you're going to use in the defense of this letter of warning. All the M documents, we read them all the time. All the time. Here's the issue I've got. Management has violated Article 19 via these M documents by doing that. Do you know who gets disciplined? We do. We do. We get disciplined for management violating the contract. How bizarre is that shit? Management has knowingly violated the contract with this letter of warning. And we're the ones who get disciplined for it. In arbitration, I'm going to have a field day with this. I'm going to have a field day with this one. I would love to take this one forward to expedited arbitration. Write this down. We've done it a million times. M1664. M1664. Anytime you're incorporating any M document into your issue statement, it will be via what? Article 19. Via Article 19. Anytime we're incorporating an M document, Article 19. All right? M1664, the Delivery Operations Information System, DOIS, is a management tool for estimating a carrier's daily workload. The use of DOIS does not change the letter carrier's reporting requirements outlined in Section 131.4 of Handbook M41. The supervisor's scheduling responsibilities outlined in Section 122 of Handbook M39, or the letter carrier's and supervisor's responsibilities contained in Section 28 of Handbook M41. DOIS projections are not the sole determinant of a carrier's leaving or return time or daily workload. As such, the projections cannot be used as the sole basis for corrective action. Now, they will say that you were walking at your case and doing all this other bullshit. That's a discussion at most. That's an official discussion at most. But you cannot tie that in with DOIS projections and say, hey, well, they've also done this. No, sir. No. So you got M1664. DOIS projections are not the sole determinant of a carrier's leaving time. What does it say on here? Specifically on Monday, October 23rd, DOIS record reveals you exceeded your office time by 1 hour and 31 minutes. DOIS record reveals. That's going to kill their shit right there. M1769. M1769. The subject office efficiency tool is a management tool for estimating a carrier's daily workload. The office efficiency tool in the Greater Indiana District or any other similar time projection system tool will not be used as the sole determinant for establishing office or street time projections. Accordingly, the resulting projections will not constitute the sole basis for corrective action. Okay? No carrier shall be disciplined for failure to meet standards. We talked about those last week. But it goes again about projections. These tools are management's only for their projections. They do not set our leave times, okay? M1444. M1444. Daily piece counts. Record in accordance with the above referenced systems, post or DOIS, will not constitute the sole basis for discipline. However, daily counts recorded in accordance with these procedures may be used by the parties in conjunction with other management records and procedures to support or refute any performance-related discipline. This does not change the principle pursuant to Section 242.332 of the M39. No carrier shall be disciplined for failure to meet standards except in cases of unsatisfactory effort, which must be based on documented unacceptable conduct that led to the carrier's failure to meet office standards. Okay? And so you'll use those. Those are very good for you, and that's what you'll use. It's Article 16, Article 16, Article 19 via Section 115 of the M39 handbook, and those there, okay, those step 4s. And that's how you'll beat that discipline. But I do that to say that management will never stop. Management will never stop. Now they're issuing discipline based on their contractual failures. They're talking that we have 10 minutes of load time, 30 minutes of office time, all of these things. We're in a bad way right now. Okay? We're in a bad way right now. It reminds me of a house on my route, 3512 Central. 3512 Central. Now, Central, it's a historic neighborhood. It's walking, and it's historic. They cannot make it driving. Okay? It's established, a historic neighborhood. You cannot mess with the face of the house. Okay? Those houses are the face that have been there for 100 years, however long the neighborhood's been there. And so they cannot mess with the face of the house. Now they can go back, which all these couples are doing now. They're knocking the backs out of them, and they're going for about $2 million a house down this street. 3512 Central was my favorite house. By far. It was the most beautiful house on Central. I loved it. It was as quaint a house as you'll ever see. And you had this guy that came into some money, and he starts buying several houses in my neighborhood. 3512, he bought one on North Wilson, he bought one on Princeton, and he gave them to his kids who had no business owning a house. And they have destroyed this house. It looks like shit. They've got 1,000 boxes just laying on the front patio. It looks like a homeless person's house. Looks like straight shit. They've planted all these fucking trees that are dead. They've got all kind of yard equipment. The porch looks like hell. You can't hardly walk up on it. It's got so much shit on it. The outside looks like hell now. It was the best looking house on the route. And just by one owner has fucked it up completely. Our union is the same way. There's nothing wrong with the union as a whole. The union is fantastic as is. The problem is the leadership of it right now has turned it into a bunch of shit. It's still a great union. And with new leadership, we'll be back to being a great union. But under the current ownership, it is shit right now. It is shit. It looks like shit. It runs like shit. And it's because of the current ownership, the current leadership. And that's where we are, is that we have a fantastic union. It looks like shit. It's run like shit. But new leadership, man, it'll be back to being the same fantastic union, right? Because the carriers are fantastic. We're amazing at what we do. And we're the only ones that do it. And we're damn good at it. You got some good people in the union. Your leadership right now, sorry as fuck. Sorry as fuck. But hey, it just takes new leadership, new ownership. We'll be right back to being the bad motherfuckers that we used to be, right? I'm going to do a couple of these things, and I'm going to get to this past practice. And I've been way too damn long. It's already an hour 30. Motherfuck. Hey, there's another podcast out. And it's an APWU one. And it's APWYOU. APWU. APWYOU. A new podcast for APWU. All right? The more the merrier. I wish everybody had 50 of them. Right? The City Letter Carrier's got a bunch of fantastic ones educating. Fantastic. APWU. There's your another podcast. APWYOU. APWU. Okay? That's a good one. Here's another thing, and I've talked about this before. Make your voice heard. As a unionized workforce, our strength comes from our members. To build power, union members must actively participate in determining the union's demands and issues. Our union contract is the most important document in our working lives. It establishes our wages, benefits, and working conditions. Build a Fighting NELC is a bottom-up, rank-and-file driven reform movement inside the NELC that has fought for and won open bargaining and contract rallies at the 2024 NELC convention. Committed to reforming the NELC from the bottom up, and to do so We must listen to and acknowledge the voices of the rank and file. Please take a few minutes to fill out the survey to help us gather a grassroots list of contract demands to make voices from the workroom floor. And so that's Build a Fighting NELC. If you go to Build a Fighting NELC, the Facebook page, this survey will be on there. Now, they've got over 1,000 now. They're doing great. We need about 2,000 more. So get on there, Build a Fighting NELC, the Facebook page, or buildafightingnelc.com. Get on there, get on this survey, and let your voice be heard. That's the only survey I'll tell you to do, okay? But get on there. You got people trying to fight for us, man, and I'll take all of them, all of them. There's Build a Fighting NLC. You've had Tyler Vass on here numerous times. Some people stepping up to try to get better for us. I'll take all the help we can get. I just will. I'll take all the help we fucking get, man. All right, let's do this, and then we'll be done with it today. It's been too long. Too damn long. About them coming in and making us remove all the stuff from our cases. And this is happening a lot for some reason. I don't know why, other than manager's just a piece of shit, and they want to constantly fuck with us. And that's all it is to me. They just cannot stop fucking with us because we got a tap dancing motherfucker at the top, and they know there ain't going to be no repercussions for anything that they do. And they know that any grievance file is going to take about 15 fucking months to be heard because we got dumb shits up there that have fucked everything up royally. But now they have all the answers, right? What'd we say? It's not our fault. Isn't that what we say? It's not our fault, man. Hell, I wish they could get me out of discipline. You think they could get me out of discipline? If management brings me in there and says, hey, Corey, what about this? It's not my fault. It's not my fault. What are you talking about? It's not your fault. It's not my fault. What? Can you answer to it? Don't have to. It's not my fault. You think that'll get us out of that? Or do we allow our union to be the only one motherfuckers that'll say that? Shit is fucked up beyond repair, and these motherfuckers, not my fault. That's a damn good answer. I never thought about that before, but that's kind of wise. It's kind of ingenious, isn't it? To just sit there and fucking say it's not my fault. Hell, I didn't think about that. I've been getting on the motherfucker for saying, but hell, it kind of makes good sense. I mean, how can you fault somebody for that? What in the fuck is going on? It's not my fault. Oh, well, fuck, I didn't know that. Well, let me move on to somebody else then. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? But again, these are the motherfuckers that think we're fucking idiots, just like this 3%. Tell them you did get 3%. What are you talking about? Just tell them that with the 1.3 and the COLA, it added up to 3%. Fuck, I never thought about that. Can we do that? We can do it. Yeah. So that plate of shit we gave them, tell them it's some filet mignon. Hell, they'll buy it. They buy anything. Anyway, I'm not going to get on that again. But past practice. You're talking about things at the case. Management comes in. They're going to tell y'all, hey, no more shit at the case. Everything needs to be off the case. Nothing personal. No personal photos. No nothing like that. And everything needs to be gone. Now, normally those would be because of some SOP, some new directive from area or district. They'll hand down and they'll come in there and tell us to take all of our shit off our cases and because of some directive, okay? Past practice. Past practice, Article 5 is where we're going to go. And I've got some cites for you too, okay? 3 cites. And the reason I love cites, like I say, is because it gives you a good issue. It would normally tell you what management's position is going to be so that you're ready for that, you know, in the future. And what we argued and what we showed, witness statements, witness testimony, length of time, and the arbitrator's decision, obviously. Defining past practice, this is on page 5.2, and this is what we're going to be looking for when we're talking about past practice, and that's what this grievance is going to be. First, there should be clarity and consistency, okay? A course of conduct which is vague and ambiguous or which has been contradicted as often as has been followed can hardly qualify as a practice. So in our statements, we want to say that we've been allowed to have pictures, calendars, sports paraphernalia, college football, pro football, breast cancer awareness things we have up there, Stuff like that we've had up there for a long time, any kind of awareness thing like that, okay? We have them in our cases, okay? And so management comes, all this stuff needs to be gone. First, there should be clarity and consistency. I've had this up here for 10 years. I've had my family, that picture is my wife and kids. My kids were 2 and 3, and they're 30 now. That's how long I've had that up there. Second, there should be longevity and repetition. We've got longevity. If I've got 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, to me, that's longevity. All right? Third, there should be acceptability. Every manager we've had come in here has let me have this shit on my case. All the way around the floor, every case. Every supervisor, every manager has allowed me to have this stuff at my case. Okay? One must consider, too, the underlying circumstances would give a practice its true dimensions, because management didn't give a shit if I had pictures of my family on my case, or pictures of cancer awareness, or pictures of my sports team, whatever it is. Finally, the significance to be attributed to a practice may possibly be affected by whether or not it's supported by mutuality. It was definitely supported by mutuality because management didn't care. Okay? Management didn't care. And so those are the things, when you get in Article 5, that's what you're going to be looking for. Okay? Are those things there? That's what your grievance is going to be surrounded by. Are those principles set out in Article 5 on page 15.2? Page 5.2. Sorry, page 5.2. Here's some arbitrations for you, and then we'll be done with it. Well, taking way too long here. See 26456. 26456. And this is Arbitrator Durham. Arbitrator Durham. Grievances sustained. The union has established that a bona fide past practice existed and that it was changed unilaterally without notice to the union. Article 5 was violated. Management shall rescind the March 11th memorandum regarding personal items on the workroom floor. And so this is about bringing in things to the workroom floor. And most of these are pretty short. Issue, statement of new Step B team on 524. Did management violate Articles 5 and past practice when the district manager issued and posted the Suncoast District Policy Letter dated March 11, 2005 for personal items on the workroom floor? And like I said, most of the times this happens, it's from some directive from district or area. They just want to come in and fuck with us for no reason. You got pictures of your family? Take that down. You got something for breast cancer awareness? Take that down. You got something, your sports team? Don't need that shit up there. Take that down. For no reason. It's not hurting anybody. It's not affecting our standards. It's not doing anything. You just want to fuck with us. That's all this is. So it's district manager issued and posted the Suncoast District Policy Letter. And so it's opinion. It talks about the policy letter. Branch 1477 filed a grievance which claimed that the policy violated past practice, that management failed to give the union advance notice, and that management made no provisions for an alternative place to keep personal items. The union contends that some offices or stations have too few or small lockers, and it talks about putting things inside your locker. The JCAM establishes that past practice can function to implement separate conditions of employment where the contract is silent. A common example is the past practice of providing the local union with a filing cabinet, even though no contract or LMOU provisions establish a right to the same. Management argues that the union has failed to establish a valid past practice. Furthermore, management asserts that the policy is necessary pursuant to Article 14 to provide safe working conditions in all present and future installations and to develop a safe working force. To insist on the observance of safe rules and safe procedures by employees and to insist on correction of unsafe conditions, therefore the issuance of the policy does not violate Article 5 or a past practice. So the evidence establishes that 1, a past practice existed where carriers were free to bring large personal items such as backpacks, purses, and briefcases to their cases. That talks you about that there was one that existed. That's what we need to establish first. Is there a practice? Does it exist? Yes. Then that's what we're going to contend. That's what she said. 2, adequate size lockers do not exist. That won't apply. 3, the union was entitled to advance notification of the change and did not receive such. The union notes in its closing argument that it missed the opportunity to assist management to come to a better result regarding safety. Management has the responsibility to provide safe working conditions, and the union is obliged to assist in such endeavor. However, management's responsibility does not obliterate its obligation to recognize the union's rights. I'll read that again. However, management's responsibility does not obliterate its obligation to recognize the union's rights. Even if, as management argues, the methods and means of providing safe working conditions is not negotiable, the union does not have the right to negotiate the impact and implementation. Management provided case citations which are distinguished as follows. And she talks about why they're different. Grievances sustained, management shall rescind the policy and shall provide advance notice and opportunity to negotiate impact and implementation to the union prior to reissuance. The reason I like that is because the arbitrator went against the district manager. And anytime you can get that, I'm going to take it, right? Anytime I get a arbitrator going against the district manager's policy, I like it. Here's the second, C, 27929. 27929. And this is arbitrator Sherman. Here's another past practice. Based off of facts, the critical practice review is a process that presumably designed to bring quality, efficiency, and uniformity to many aspects of local postal operations. The criteria for housekeeping under the Southwest Area CPR include the following 12 items. So here's another. You had one from the district manager. This one is from the Southwest Area. And it talks about all these bullet points, okay, about why they're going to start doing away with our rights under Article 5. It talks about position of the union, position of the service, discussion, and opinion. Under Article 3 of the agreement, the Postal Service has many exclusive rights, including the right to direct employees to the performance of official duties, the right to maintain the efficiency of operations, and the right to determine the methods, means, and personnel by which such operations to be conducted. However, Article 3 also specifies that these rights shall be exercised subject to the provisions of the agreement, and Article 5 prohibits management from taking any unilateral action affecting terms and the conditions of employment as defined in Section 8D of the NLRA. The issue in this case is whether local management violated an existing grievance settlement memorandum as well as the prohibition upon unilateral action by immediately and unilaterally banning all personal items from carrier cases on May 8th of 2008 at the Thousand Oaks Station. The arbitrator found the union's arguments to be unequivocally proven in this case. There was clear evidence that the parties had encountered this same issue, albeit a decade before, and had developed specific substantive and procedural guidelines for dealing with it. When these guidelines were memorialized, they offered evidence of an agreement concerning an important condition of employment, the permissible physical condition of the employee's carrier cases after they had completed authorized personalization. These agreed guidelines laid out clear and logical specifications for what could be displayed in a carrier's area, where it could be placed, and how to resolve disputes about the application of the guidelines. It was a textbook example of sensible grievance resolution as well as an example of functional custom and practice. To credit the union's citation of arbitrator Mittenthal's criteria, there was a clear and consistently applied standard which had longevity, logic, mutual acceptability as its hallmarks, and that's National Arbitrator Mittenthal's criteria set forth in Article 5. Moreover, there was no evidence whatsoever that the memorandum had ever led to any loss of productivity. That's what we talk about. Why is it so up your ass that I have things in my case? It's not affecting productivity. Why does it bother you so? To have a picture of my family on my case. Why is that bothering you so much? It's not affecting my productivity. You can't show that it's affecting my productivity. You're just wanting to fuck with me, is all it is. She didn't write that. I just said that. Let alone a single contentious interpretive dispute. The testimony of the agency's own witness confirmed that employees who occasionally exceeded the guidelines were dealt with consensually and appropriately. What then was wrong with this picture? Evidently, the picture did not conform with Item 9 of the agency's housekeeping checklist under the Southwest Area CPR. Then it goes on to talk about another one, However, the arbitrator does believe that local management went too far in its efforts to compel rigid compliance with item 9 regarding personal items. Like arbitrator McGowan, this arbitrator believes that management must respect existing agreements as well as custom and practice regarding personal items in letter carriers' cases. This arbitrator also agrees with arbitrator McGowan's view that such arrangements may well represent a sensible alternative to the excessive zeal and imagined efficiencies that are embodied in the agency's efforts to prohibit any type of personalization by letter carriers to their carrier case. In the present instance, there was an agreement in effect that embodied the past practice of permitting carriers to display limited number of variety of personal items on their case light fixtures. There was nothing brought to the arbitrator's attention at the hearing that effectively countermanded the provisions of this agreement. Furthermore, in the view of the arbitrator, this arrangement represented the embodiment of agreed terms and conditions of employment as defined in Section 8, and therefore it could not be unilaterally altered by the agency. And so they said there was a violation of Article 5. Lastly, this is arbitrator cenci, C-E-N-C-I, arbitrator cenci, 28435. C 28435. The opinion. Issue. The parties agree to the following issue statement. Did management violate Articles 3, 15, and or 30 of the National Agreement on March 7, 2009? The union notified that carriers would be required to move all personal items hanging at their cases. Facts. Carriers at the Warwick Post Office have long been permitted to keep personal items at their cases. That's what we're looking for. Management attempted to change the practice one time prior to the change that gave rise to the current case. On January 22, 2008, carriers were ordered to remove all personal items hanging from their carrier case. Now this one will be placed at the case or on the case. Now here's the discussion. The union has established in this case that a past practice of permitting carriers to keep personal items at their cases existed at the Warwick Post Office. The service does not dispute that the test of past practice have been met, and indeed cannot do so in this case, since a B-team decision established the existence of the practice. Now, we don't concern ourselves with that if we don't have one. Even where past practice exists, however, it is not necessarily frozen in place for all time. Management may alter or abolish a past practice if it gives the union advance notice of the proposed change and bargains in good faith over the impact of the change on the bargaining unit. Practices may also be changed by management when the nature of the business changes or when they are no longer efficient or economical, and that's straight out of Article 5. Management failed in this case to bargain with the union in good faith over the proposed change prior to implementing it, and that's where we're going to go with these, where they're coming in there just arbitrarily telling us to take all of our shit off our cases. The March 13, 2009 meeting at which the union and management discussed the personal items at the cases and other issues cannot be considered a bargaining session. The union was not given notice in advance of the meeting that management wanted to change the past practice. The union did not even receive an agenda prior to the meeting, although there is a requirement that the agenda of labor management meetings be exchanged at least 72 hours in advance. Mr. Dos Santos had been working as OIC at the Warwick Post Office for only 5 days prior to the meeting, and the union was unaware that March 13, 2000 meeting was anything more than an opportunity to get to know the new OIC. Yet at the outset of the meeting, they were handed a list of 36 matters the new OIC wanted to change based upon his observations in the first few days he had been at the facility. Good faith bargaining involves more than off-the-cuff discussion at a meeting where there had been no advance notice of the topics to be discussed, no development of proposals, and no exchange of proposals. The March 13, 2009 meeting did not constitute a good faith bargaining session. There remains a question as to whether management offered to bargain in good faith after the March 13, 2009 meeting, but prior to implementing the change. According to management, the union made it clear at the March 13th meeting that it would not bargain or compromise at all on the question of allowing carriers to keep personal items at their case. The union disputes that account and maintains that it never refused to bargain over the issue, although it did point out that the practice had been upheld by the B team. Even if the union refused to discuss the issue at the March 13, 2009 meeting, it was within its rights to do so. Under Section 5 of the LMOU, neither party is required to discuss any item at a labor management meeting if the item did not appear on an agenda exchange at least 72 hours in the advance of the meeting. I previously noted that requirement had not been met. Management's next offer to bargain over the issue came after the March 17, 2009 letter notifying the union that the practice would be changed. That letter strongly suggested that from the perspective of management, discussion of the issue had been completed and a decision had been made. No meaningful good faith bargaining had taken place before that letter was sent, and the letter itself included no offer to bargain. Although management subsequently made offers to bargain, I note that the agreed issue in this case is whether management violated the national agreement when it notified the union of the change on March 17, 2009. It is unclear that offers to bargain subsequent to that date are within the scope of the issue presented to the arbitrator. I further find that the union reasonably concluded, based upon the March 13th meeting with management and the follow-up March 17th letter, that management had made its decision and the grievance process was its only recourse. There is no evidence in this case that the practice was uneconomical or inefficient. There is also a lack of evidence that it constituted a safety violation. If some items maintained by carriers at their cases presented a safety hazard, these should have been identified through the processes that are in place to address safety concerns. For the reasons set forth above, management violated Article 5 of the National Agreement when it notified the union on March 17th that carriers would be required to remove all personal items hanging at carriers' cases. Management unilaterally changed the past practice without giving the union adequate prior notice and without engaging in good faith bargaining over the impact of the change. And she sustained the grievance. So there's your three good cites. Talks about longevity, right? Talks about management failing to bargain in good faith. Anytime they come in and say, hey, next Monday, cases have to be clear. You're not bargaining in good faith, right? You're telling me what's fixing to happen. You're arbitrarily violating Article 5 when you do that, okay? So there's your one about taking things from carriers' cases. More and more things are coming up like that because management, again, just can't quit fucking with us. Now, there's nothing about my efficiency or performance that is addressed through that. It's not helping that in any way. You're just wanting to fuck with me because you can. All right? So there's your episode on From 8 Arbitration, baby. We talked about some things. Talked about the rap session. Your tap dancer. Got some problems there, don't we? We got some problems there. Well, we need those that know how to fight, that have been in fights, that know what it's like to fight. They love to fight. They look forward to it. They search it out. That's what we're needing in our union right now. And that's what James Henry is. Again, you got James Henry, you got Brian Renfro. Who are you going to choose? That's it. Who are you going to choose? James Henry, the fighter, got a legacy of fighting. Legendary in that arena. Or Renfro, the conceder, the tap dancer. To me, it's clear. But to some, it's not. I don't get it. But James will win overwhelmingly. That's going to happen. I think more and more people are starting to realize that, being as the people that are starting to talk to James Henry about certain things. And so, hey, we'll take all comers, right? I love you, Light Blue. I do. And I cannot wait to get in there and fight for you. I look for fighting. I search it out. I want it, right? I've tasted that before, and I love it. And so I can't wait to get in there and start fighting for you. We got some hellacious people coming on, man. Those business aides I told you about earlier. Hellacious individuals, rabid dogs. Can't wait to get in there. All right, got another one coming out in December. Can't wait for you to hear about it, Region 8. But I love y'all, truly. I love you. And I'm going to fight to my last breath for you. That's just how it is. That's how it's going to be. And I will talk to y'all Sunday. Y'all have a fantastic Thanksgiving. All right, have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time. Eat plenty. Enjoy yourself. And we'll talk to you again on Sunday. Get back on schedule. All right, I love you. I'll talk to y'all later.